friends, welcome back to another video. Will here, Orlando-based flight attendant. Hope you're doing wonderful. On today's video, I'm going to be answering your questions, and we're also going to get ready to work a turn. We are heading over to LaGuardia today, and then we come back sometime around 9 p.m. It is currently 9:06 a.m. I am about to hit the gym. Today, I am going to start my HIIT workout program, and I am hoping that I get stick to the program, because if I do, in like 2 or 3 months, we're gonna see a lot of changes. So I am excited, nervous, because I want to make sure that I follow, the plan accordingly, but I will take it day by day. As you guys saw, just made my bed. I am going to drink tons of water, hit the gym, and we'll get this day started. Currently making lunch for today's turn, and I'm also going to be eating that for the next couple days. I have the chicken here heating up. I got this Mandarin orange chicken from Trader Joe's. I wouldn't eat this every day, but in days like today where I only have 36 minutes to be ready and out of here, it's great. Chicken looks like this, and I'm gonna split it between 3 bowls. This is pretty much the amount of food that you can get from 1 bag of the Mandarin orange chicken and 1 little bag of rice. We are missing veggies here, but we really don't have time or space for that. So we're gonna have to get fruits and veggie in a different way. But this is pretty much it. I'm gonna go get ready and get out of here. I am ready to head over to the airport and work this turn to LaGuardia. But before we do that, I wanna answer some of you guys' questions. We're gonna start with the personal ones because I feel like that they're easier ones to answer. And then we'll go over to aviation questions, which I feel like they'll be very helpful to many of you. First question is, how do you maintain your mental health? Your schedule must be crazy. You're not wrong about my schedule. It can be crazy at times. And I feel like for me, the way that I take care of my mental health is reaching out to friends whenever I feel overwhelmed or whenever I feel like I need a break. I would also reach out to family. Obviously, therapy has been the #1 resource to keep my mental health in a good space. And lastly, I find myself sometimes journaling whenever I don't know how to handle an emotion, or I feel like I don't know how to express what I'm feeling to people, and then kind of like going back so that I can understand a little bit what is it that I was feeling at the time and how I can potentially explain that to people if that ever happens to me again. Will, I believe you share an apartment. Is it with another flight attendant? I do share an apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and I share the apartment with my best friend of 5 years. We actually met in grad school. He is not a flight attendant. He works for a nonprofit, and I do like that we work in different industries. That gives us a lot of different things to talk about whenever we find ourselves together in the same space. He works remote, so he does spend a lot of time here at the apartment, but he also travels for work too. His name is Osvaldo, so moving forward, if you guys hear the name, that's who he is. What does the love/dating life look like right now? I've been working on myself. What are my goals? What are some of the things that I want to accomplish in the next 5 years? And what do I really want for my life before I actually enter the dating world again? I am very happy where I am. I'm doing a lot of traveling, doing a lot of work on myself. So whenever that moment comes, of course, you guys will know. When is your next leisure trip and where? So it's actually happening at the end of this month. April 23rd is when I'll start the journey. I don't know exactly where I'm going yet because I am going to be traveling my flight attendant benefits. I do have a list of different countries that I like to go to and flights that are available to those countries. So we're just gonna have to wait until I get to the airport and see what flight I make to which destination. Next question here, what happened to those 2 dogs that you used to have? So if you've been here for a little while, you might have seen Alvin and Callie in some of my videos, especially when I lived in Chicago. There were 2 beautiful dogs that my ex and I had together. When time came for us to go our separate ways, we had to figure out a way to see where the dogs were going to stay, what was best for them. We kind of tried to to each take the ones that we adopted, but ultimately we decided that it was better for them to stay together and stay in Chicago. So when I left Chicago, I unfortunately had to say goodbye to them, and that's why you have not seen Alvin and Callie on my videos since I left Chicago. I do have like 6 more questions that I'm going to answer, but right now I do have to head over to the airport, so I don't want to be late. And our report time is at 1:20. I always like to leave an hour early just to make sure that I have enough time to go through security, especially if I get random on crew security. And those lines here at the Orlando airport are very unexpected at times. I want to make sure that I get through without any hurdles on the way. I have my bag ready, I have my lunchbox ready, and Tori just messaged me that she's actually on her way. I don't think I share that with you guys, but I am actually working with Tori on this turn. That's really the main reason why I picked up the turn. We're both flying in the back galley, so I am so excited to be working with her. It's been a long time. Hopefully today is a good day. I'm gonna stop saying that because every time I say that I always jinx it, but that is still my hope. And yeah, I'll see you when we get to the airport. Made it to LaGuardia. Flight time was 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we had a full boat. People were asking for a lot of things, so service was very busy, but now we're here. We have to wait for the cleaners to come on board, and then we'll start boarding to go back. We should have about 75 open seats, and I don't know our flight time yet. So far it's been good. We're on time. Let's just hope that when we get to Orlando, everything runs smooth over there. I still have a couple more questions to answer, but I don't really have a lot of time, and I want to make sure I answer those questions fully. So I'm going to go ahead and answer them when we get back to Orlando. Hey friends, it is the next day after I got back from my LaGuardia turn. The flight time here to Orlando was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we only had 103 passengers, I believe. And somehow I felt like we worked more on this flight that had less people than the one that actually was completely full. But it was good. We got back early, no drama, everything went great. I have a few questions left. A couple are still personal. I didn't realize, I said yesterday that I had 6 left, but in reality I have 11, so let's get to it. When will you and Dev fly together again? I enjoy seeing the two of you together. The last time Dev and I worked together was probably, I want to say December 31st. We might have done an Awadiyah turn, and that was it. Dev likes to work turns. I like my trips. And we really have not actively tried to get on each other's trips. I don't know when will be the next time that we're gonna work together. But hopefully in the upcoming weeks, we might be able to swap into each other's trips and put something together for you guys. What job would you have done if you weren't a flight attendant? I've done a decent amount of jobs. I worked in libraries, gyms, restaurants, fast foods, banks, nonprofit. I feel like I would have tried to do something in law. The only area where I feel like I didn't really try to get a job or pursue a job. Next question here, most embarrassing moment on a flight. This actually happened, I think it was my first year. I was working a flight from somewhere to Atlanta, and we were going to have a layover in Atlanta, so it was the last leg of the day. I had just finished doing service, and I was restocking the service card, and all of a sudden I bent down to reach for something, and I felt when my pant ripped, and I was like, oh my god, this cannot be happening to me right now. And thank god I was wearing black underwear. So I spent most of the layover trying to find black pants for work the next day. I think there was a video on that. If I find it, I'm gonna put it somewhere up here so you guys can see it after this one. What led you to decide to apply for the flight attendant position? I don't think I've ever shared this before, but the reason, like what led me to actually decide to apply, where I was like, okay, that's it, I'm going to apply, it was a rejection for a promotion. So at my previous job, I was trying to get promoted, and it just wasn't working. There's a lot of things and details that I really need to get into. And after I finished that interview, and probably a few days after, I got an email. I was like, you know what, that's it. I'm done. I don't think I deserve to put more time here, so I'm just gonna put in my flight attendant application and just get out of here. And that's what I did. I've been a flight attendant since. Do you ever want to become a pilot? I think I haven't really given much thought about this. I thought about it a couple times, and I did get to the decision of, if I ever want to become a pilot, I'd like to fly private, not commercial. That's as far as I've gotten to deciding if I really want to become a pilot. I have not even looked into what path I'd have to take to get to that, but if I ever get to that, it'll probably just be private. Do you think you'll stay with your airline for the long term? I do see myself working here for the next couple years. I don't know that that will ever change. I don't want to say I'm never leaving because you never know, but I do like my work-life balance here. I enjoy having the flexibility to take as much time off as I want. Having a great schedule and also getting the days off that I need is really my top priority when it comes to this job. If I were to go somewhere else, I'd probably be on reserve for a longer period of time. I'd have to probably go to another base, commute again, and I just don't know that I am in a position to go through all of that again. I also don't feel like I'm missing out on, you know, international layovers. I feel like I travel as much as I can on my free time with my benefits, and I think for me that's enough. So for that reason, I do see myself here in the long term, but again, you never know. I assume the next question here is at what age a flight attendant retires. There isn't really an age where you can retire. I mean, if you want to retire after X amount of years of service, you can, but the airline is not going to tell you, hey, you reached this age, you have to retire now. I know that for pilots it's different, but for flight attendants, you really can retire whenever you want after whatever many years. Next here on the list, can you talk about other income streams someone can work while balancing flight attendant work? This one can be a little bit challenging only because when you start at an airline, you'll most likely be on reserve. So you do have to find something that can be work remote or on your own time. I know food delivery or Uber, Lyft, those kind of things might actually work. I also did a lot of online selling, so I had a lot of clothes that instead of donating, I actually sold. I think the app that I used to sell the clothes and bags and shoes was Poshmark, and from time to time I'd actually make decent money. It wasn't like an income that I was counting on every month, but occasionally I get a couple $100, and that actually helped. And lastly, what worked for me was doing social media management for businesses. So if you do have experience in marketing, social media marketing, digital marketing, you might be able to find opportunities that you can work on your own time and make extra cash where you're balancing flight attendant work. How do you manage your budget being a flight attendant? This one took me a long time. At first, I wasn't really managing my budget. I was just spending money left and right. And it wasn't until a couple months ago, actually, I think beginning of this year, I started being more conscious about the money that I was spending. And so I looked into the per diem that I was getting paid every month. And so I try to just put that money aside. So whenever I go on my trips, I'm only using my per diem money, not using the rest of my money. And if I do run out of money, then I will not use it until my next paycheck. It is easy to spend a lot of money on a 2-3 day trip, especially if you are working with a crew that you really vibe with, or if you guys are going to a city where there's things you like to do, you are going to be spending money. But I think just using the per diem that I get paid every month has helped a lot, and just really controlling that spending. We got 2 more, guys, 2 more. What do you like to do in your free time in Orlando? Honestly, I love going to Disney Springs. I'm not one to go to the parks. I really haven't gotten into going to the parks. I have been considering getting an annual pass. I'm not there yet. So Disney Springs is somewhere I really like to go whenever I'm off. I also like to try different restaurants and coffee shops and just really hanging out with friends. I don't really do much. I don't really go clubbing. If I don't have anything else to do, then spending time here in my apartment is where I'll be, doing nothing. Last question here. Have you gotten to try the orange dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's? This is a great question, and no, I have not tried it. If you guys have tried it, drop in the comments. Should I go and try it? I'm not really one to like sweet, but I'll give it a try. All right, friends, and that is the end of all the questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to drop your questions. I hope you guys got to know a bit more about me, and if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, hitting that like button, and also don't forget to turn the notifications on so that you never miss a video. I appreciate you being here. Again, I'll see you next Sunday for another flight attendant video. Take care.